Hey everybody, it's Damien from Guitar Journey here, and as always, I hope your guitar journey is going awesome, okay? Today I want to talk to you just a little bit about this idea of practice. You know, I'm active in a lot of music discussion groups online, specifically guitar learning groups, and very often I see somebody post something about they're struggling with something, they're really working on trying to get better at something, and the comments very often are like, dude, you just got to practice more. And, you know, that's not wrong, but it's not that helpful either. Makes me think of the old joke about, you know, somebody's lost and they're asking for directions and they say, how do I get to Carnegie Hall? And the answer is practice, practice, practice. Or maybe, you know, you've heard people say, well, practice doesn't make perfect, but perfect practice makes perfect. And I kind of roll my eyes at that too, because it's like, well, you know, if I could really practice perfectly, maybe that means I don't actually need the practice. I mean, if I could do it perfectly already, you know? So in a short video like this, I can't tell you exactly what you should be working on, but in a sense, that's kind of the point. You know, what I want you to think about is it's not enough just to practice more. In your practice, you need two things. You need specificity and you need mindfulness, okay? What I mean by specificity is you have to be working on specific things, of course, you know, and I will say if you're kind of more at the beginning of your journey, you really need to be working on a little bit of everything. Don't put a huge amount of pressure on yourself, but also don't try to specialize in anything, you know, work your strumming, maybe work a scale or two, maybe some very basic improvisation. If you've chosen to learn to read traditional notation, which I think is a very, very good idea, spend a little time on that. But again, do a little bit of everything. Make sure you get a good firm foundation, okay? But if you're a more experienced player, you really want to work very specific things. And honestly, the more specific, the better, okay? As an example, you know, it's not enough just to say, oh, I want to work on my soloing. I want to improvise better, okay? You might think that's specific, but it's really not. Because we could break down where you're coming up short with your solos, and we could say, is your right hand and your left hand, are they not synchronized very well? Or is your picking sloppy? Or are you comfortable with your scales? Can you move them up and down the neck? Or maybe just your phrasing is kind of robotic and you need to work on phrasing more tastefully, more soulfully, okay? And of course, these are all very different things. Now, a good instructor will have a good structured curriculum and they'll be able to help you identify where you should be focusing your efforts and exactly how you should be practicing. But again, the point is, it's not just that you need to practice more. You need to really identify with the greatest specificity possible exactly on what you want to focus, okay? Now the second thing, once you've got something very specific to practice, you need to be mindful in your practice, okay? You need to be fully present, fully focused on what you're doing, yes, and also on what specific benefit you're trying to get. You know, it makes me think, years ago I was working with a private student, and the student was a fingerstyle player. We were playing fingerstyle, and the student's thumb was not hitting the bass notes of the individual chords that he was playing very accurately. You know, and like fretting a G chord, and he's supposed to be going 6, 4, 5, 4, like that. His thumb was missing a lot of the bass notes, so I devised a fun kind of easy exercise to enhance the accuracy of his thumb. And you know, kind of reflexive accuracy, you know, what I call smart hands in fingerstyle playing. And I gave him this exercise and he goes, oh, this is great. I love it. I can definitely see how this is going to help my accuracy. I can do this in front of the TV. No, please don't do that, okay? Again, you need to be mindful about your practice. You need to be fully present for your practice. You need to be focused on what you're doing and what you're trying to get out of the practice, okay? It makes me think, I sometimes chuckle, I hear these stories about such and such a guitar player and oh, she used to practice 12, 14 hours a day. And I can't help wondering, did they really sit there fully focused, fully present for 12 or 14 hours? Or did they do a little practicing and then just kind of, you know, walk around with the guitar slung over their shoulder, you know, noodling around a little bit for the rest of the time, you know? I don't know, but it does make me wonder. People say things like, oh, I just never saw that person, that they didn't have a guitar in their hands. And that's great. It means music was a very vivid, very constant part of their life. That's wonderful. But again, was it really focused, mindful practice? And my guess is that in most cases, the answer is no. So just remember, you want specificity and you want to be really, really mindful about what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish, okay? That's where the benefit comes in. That's where we get the neuromuscular programming that is the end result of really good practice, okay? And I want to say too, the good news is that if you're fully mindful, if you're fully present, if you're working on specific things, you don't need to do 12 hours a day. You can accomplish a ton in just 30 minutes a day. Really good practice goes a long way, okay? All right, specificity and mindfulness, okay? That's all I got for today, okay? Specifically work on specific skills with specific exercises and be fully present, fully mindful for your practice. I want to say thank you for watching, okay? Sincerely, thank you. Hit the subscribe button. I would be very grateful if you hit the subscribe button. Remember, there's lots more content on this channel and there's lots more content coming. And as always, please leave me a comment as well, even if you disagree with me. The way I look at it is whether you agree with me or not, we're all better if we can have an open discussion, okay? We are all on this awesome guitar journey together, so let's move forward together, all right? Outstanding. Take care. Have a great day.